It's so nice to see everyone again virtually. You're on a music and chat four-part mini series called Shueh-li the Shang, and it's a good morning from me to you from the Shangri-La Hotel in Singapore, affectionately known as the Shang, where I'm spending, yes, my 2-week quarantine as mandated by the Singapore government, which means you stay in your room the entire 14 days with no interaction whatsoever with any human being or housekeeping. So you have to do your own dishes. They do supply you with utensils, or some of you might call it silverware, and do some spot cleaning. As you can see, my room is very clean because I am a clean person. I spot clean continuously. Some other rooms might not be so pleasant looking. I'm so happy to see all of you, my friends. I do see several virtual bodies bopping about in the live stream, but only Gary has been bold enough, and he's always bold, to come up and say hello. Gary's a team member of Music and Chat and has been very helpful in many ways in getting Music and Chat up and going. So thanks, Gary, again for being here. It's 8:31 a.m. in Singapore and 8:31 p.m. or is it 8:33 p.m. Where Gary is in Frederick, Maryland. I have a conflict in the times. My iPad is showing me that it's 8:33, but my laptop showing me it's 8:31. So who knows? So again, happy to see you all. And on each of the 4 days of this mini series, I shall look at a track or two, maybe 3. I did 3 yesterday. From my 4 albums, and I shall tackle questions about my work, but I shall not tackle politics, the quarantine, or any sensitive issues, because we don't want to get ourselves in trouble, do we? Okay, let's get on with the stream, because I shall be starving when breakfast lands at my door at 9:30 a.m. So let's pack in as much as we can in the hour or so. Still looking around for who else is online. I saw a few people leave for the little boy or little girl's room. Please join us again very swiftly, because I'm going to head on to the next thing. So I showed you some pictures of where I am yesterday. At least on yesterday's live stream, I showed you pictures of where I am now. And yesterday, I took a quick screenshot of Singapore, the island country, on Google Maps, just so you can see how small it is, or at least its shape. And you will see that downtown Singapore is a little south of the center of Singapore, because the center north of Singapore is quite dense with foliage. It's kind of like Singapore's mini forest, I suppose. And bodies of water, which I suspect could be where the reservoirs are. Someone better look this up in case I've just put wrong information online, but it's okay to be wrong because you have friends around you to correct you. And where I am, Shangri-La, is a little south of the middle or center of Singapore. Okie dokie. Who else is online? Please come say hello. So today we look at album number 2, my album number 2. But before we do, let's backtrack a few years to 2004, which is a year after 2003 when I started recording my first album, Shueh-li Xenovibes. 2004 was when the album premiered at Singapore's Old Parliament House, and it was supported by my friends Michael Spicer, Jeff Long, and John Martinez. John eventually became Xenovibes USA's core member when I moved to Dallas, the USA. I got a picture. Picture time. So this is the exterior of the old Parliament House. Old because there is a new Parliament House, and back then the old Parliament House was slated to be a performing arts venue. So that's my poster and a quick shot of the concert happening. So Jeff on the extreme left on guitar, Michael, you're familiar with him, on flute and keyboards and wind controller as well. Me smiling with happiness with my guqing, my keyboards, theremin further forward, etc., etc., and John on his electronic drums. So I started working on album number 2, Music from Another Land, in Dallas. And the title came about precisely because of the move and what I saw as opportunities to be immersed in music born from collaborative efforts in performance. Before I go any further, it looks like Gary has a question. Ooh, any video? Yeah, I do. You might be able to find some clips on YouTube. Not on my channel, though. I don't know why. I should go grab some and post them online. But I do have an old tape. Actually, it's not an old tape. It's on DVD. I forgot. I actually hired a video crew. They were such experts at doing a multi-person kind of shoot because they were so familiar with doing MTV Asia style video shoots that they did multi-camera straight to DVD or straight to tape. So they would shoot and mix, edit straight to tape, and at the end of the night I got my copy. And they did an excellent job. Wish I remember their names. But yeah, it's somewhere there. I need to do a capture, I suppose. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gary. That was so long ago. 2004. Ook. What's that? 17 years ago. Time flies. So, okay. So Xenovibes also as I said, I moved to the US in 2005, where I debuted Xenovibes or Shueh-li Xenovibes at the Dallas Museum of Art at their 102nd birthday celebrations, where it seems that we had over 4,000 people attend. And again, I just have one picture of it because my other photos are locked up in some archives that I did, and I don't have them with me in Singapore, so I managed to find this one, the only one that I could find. But as you can see, it was a 6-piece ensemble, and I was very honored to have with me, besides John on drums, Jennifer Perriman on keyboard, Boo Macy on guitar. We also had Shelly Carroll on wind, and Shelly was on a break touring with Sheryl Crow at that time, and also Mike McKinney on bass. Mike McKinney was one of the band members in the Jacksons' Triumph tour. So this was prior to the Victory tour, which we chatted about with Rory Kaplan not that long ago. So Mike played bass on the Triumph tour. Um, so today I wanna talk about a track from Music from Another Land, and I picked to talk about palindrome. Palindrome is a word or a phrase which reads forward or backward, unless you're backward and coming forward. An example is madam, M-A-D-A-M. If you spell it from the back, it's also M-A-D-A-M. And the word comes from the Greek palin, which means back or again, and dromos, meaning a running. Interesting, eh? How our words come about, or as they say, the etymology of our words. Palindrome was originally written for my second electronic opera, Timaga Theory, but which I rearranged and produced for the album. I wanted a trippy type drum and bass feel in the chorus to juxtapose with the ballady type sounding verse. So, which is why I did it that way, as you would hear it on the album. I'm gonna mention this yesterday, how I come about with ideas. I think, who was it? Was it Keith who asked what comes first in building or constructing my music? Well, I'm a writer, producer, and technologist, so I guess they're all intertwined with each other. The process of writing is very much part and parcel of the lot. Not neither nor is isolated. There is no this first and then that first. Oh, Kevin, yes, Kevin asked. I'm sorry. My apologies to Kevin, and I think it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Kevin Pfeiffer. But so back to the way I construct my work. So as I said, I'm a writer, arranger, producer, synthesist. I don't know. It's part of what being a musician is, I suppose. So I do it all, and I'm very blessed to be able to, and very fortunate to be able to do it all. And I've been doing this for years. Okay, let us now go to my SoundCloud page. Here we go. And yesterday we investigated Shueh-li Vibes album 1. Today we investigate Music from Another Land album 2. And Palindrome. I believe Gary had an interesting question about Palindrome. And his question was, funny how the word is not a palindrome, but what the hey? Yeah, I guess the word, as I said, was constructed from two Greek words. So there you go. Okay. Let's look at this. Don't forget to say hi in the live chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. So let's play it. I've kind of explained where and how the piece started, but there's more blurb on my Bandcamp website if you're interested, and I'll also display the lyrics if you're curious. Oh, before I do that, I should say, if you recall my telling you the story of my two electronic operas, so Palindrome comes at a point, a landmark in the electronic opera where Metal was trying to explain to his younger brother Tyrone that really, history repeats itself. Because here you are. When I was younger, in my younger days, I thought I was the cool one. Our generation was the cool one. And here you are, you're doing exactly the same thing that we did when we were younger. As I said before, music is music, and it's the same fabric from which we cut our ideas from, and at the end of the day, it is all the same. You don't have to say that you need to be separated from the original group now and splinter off just because you think you're the new sound. But so basically, he kind of spouts some philosophy, I suppose, to say that you know that's the interesting thing about history. It always ends up repeating itself. That's why we study history, and we try and learn from each other. So that's why there is some mention of history in the lyrics of Palindrome and so on and so forth. But without me yabbering on anymore, let me play the song.
Look life from both sides to see a shadow of the past in the present light. Do you reach the end just to find it should begin at the side? And why walk to change the future and shape the now bygone? When time is merely a palindrome, a palindrome. Do you see the face of Jackal in the mirror of Mr. Hyde? Tell me, are we to be a servant or a servant of one's own life? And why be so fastidious when history books parade all lies? It's just a palindrome, a palindrome. Tell me, timing,
Didn't mean to click it again. So, Gary, you were saying I need the lyrics. It really fleshes out the concept. Yeah, I like to go a bit. I like to stretch from the norm when I write, if possible. Uh, I do know that when you stretch outside the norm, it makes it harder to be for your result to be accepted or received. I guess that's why there's a category called popular music, because they follow some kind of a formula, so to speak, where um, you know that you would find a ready audience. So when you stretch outside the norm, it's not often that it gets the audience that you're looking for. But it's okay. I treat each song and each album as a chance to do something different. Often I'm my worst kind of opponent, I suppose, because I don't like the idea of repeating myself. Repetition is not a bad thing, it's just me. So, hence, I like a variety. So, even in each album, I do a variety of things. I suppose it all kind of comes from the outpouring of my imagination as soon as I'm finished with one. And I'm careful to try not to put all my outpourings in one song, because it can happen. Is that I leave some for the next one, which makes it difficult because you hang on so with such what you call it love, I suppose, for the song that you're working on at that moment, or the track that you're working on at that moment. It's the one that is taking all your time and attention, and that you're really enjoying. To have to complete it and move on to the next is not necessarily easy to do, which is why musicians are notorious for never finishing an album, so to speak. There's always something that they want to add to it. It's never finished. Uh, Thanks, Gary, again. Yes, I enjoyed the production of that track as well in so many ways. It's still one of my favorite tracks. Again, like I said yesterday, they're all my favorites. Really hard to pick one from the rest to say that's the one I would choose if I were to recommend you a track to listen to from the album, because they're all so different. Um, okay. Any questions? Gary's the only one who is commenting, which is so nice of you. I do see that there are other people who have tuned in. It would be really nice to hear from these other people. Yes, precisely. All the songs are kind of like your children. You've given birth to them, and you want to watch them grow, and as they grow and develop and demonstrate their talents, you want to nurture them even more. But at some point, you need to cut the ties and say, you're all grown up, now you're on your own. That's funny. Okay, Gary, shall we pick another song to look at if you don't have any more questions? Who? Gary has chosen Tamorgano. Uh, Tamorgano, strangely enough, is also from my electronic opera. One of the two. I wrote quite a lot of music for my electronic operas. The first one called Metal and Music, about an android designed to be a composer who composes strict tempo type music. But later on, due to some craziness that took place, and you have to watch the opera to get the story, um, this craziness turned him into quite a different composer. And Metal was quite confused about this aberration, so to speak. But long story short, he realized that it was actually complementary to the way he was programmed. So that's a summary. In Time Theory, which is like a sequel to, as I've mentioned before, Metal acquires a younger brother. Also, the makings of his father, the scientist. His younger brother is Tyrone, who splinters off with other composing robots and think they're the bee's knees, so to speak. He thinks that they should now rule the music underworld because they're the better ones, they're the new sound. I can't remember exactly which point in the electronic opera Tamorgano came about, but I really wanted to do like a Baroque type piece, but with kind of a very what you might call it, very basic kind of a rock pop rhythm section as well. Uh, I was also thinking, of course, how cool it would be to play a Bach type piece that I wrote myself to play it live, and of course, you had people like Rick Wakeman and Keith Emerson type performers on the keyboards who trashed the keyboards in both sense of the word. And I wanted to trash something, but more stated, more Shelley style, not go too crazy. So that's how Tamorgano came about. So let's play Tamorgano. So that is Tamorgano. And Sam was saying that, hi Sam, so nice to see you. Yeah, I'm back in Singapore, so uh, eventually I would start moving the live stream times a little later, just like before. So it'll be very much the same time to tune in as when I did season one last year. Wow, time flies. Sam says there's an old movie called Hawk the Slayer. This would be perfect for it. I haven't seen Hawk the Slayer. In fact, I've never heard of the movie, so I should look it up. I suppose is it like a fantasy sci-fi horror? So Gary says I've seen live clips of this track. Yeah, you might. You probably saw the clip from the old Parliament House then. That's the only clip I can think of. The one with Jeff, Michael, and John. So, any questions about this track? As you can see in the notes from my Bandcamp site, the instruments in the revisioned version includes the guqin. In the original version for the electronic opera, I didn't have the guqin. It would have been a bit more difficult to set up everything to make it sound uh, as good as what's on the track, and for one person to try and tackle live, so to speak. Yeah, in that case, that's the one from the old Parliament House. In case you guys are not familiar with what I'm talking about, the old Parliament House group, and I showed the photo of it just now. What's this one? Oops, I clicked. So that's Jeff, extreme left, Michael, me, and John on drums. Any questions about Tamorgano? How about we look at another song? So bear in mind that even though some of these tracks or compositions came from prior to my move to the USA, all that you have on this track, all the tracks were revisioned, so to speak, for this album in Dallas itself while I was in Dallas. Which track shall we look at? Anybody? Thanks, Gary. So we're moving on to song 3. I'm a Simian is Gary's pick. Okay. I'm a Simian happens to be another track from my electronic opera. So you guys know the background of the 2 electronic operas now. And I'm a Simian is sung by Metal, the composing android, robot, whatever you want to call him. And the word simian obviously is a representative of, the humanoid, the being with 2 arms and 2 legs. So Mahal is saying, I'm a humanoid in the lyrics, as you can see. And of course, he's telling you in so few words that I know who I am, because he doesn't have human insecurities or inadequacies. He's what he is, and he's not shy. He's not backward in coming forward to tell you. And during his time in the first electronic opera, Metal and Music, he was pretty, he was highly regarded. He was the only composing android of his quality, I suppose you could say. So he goes, he's a toast. I'm the toast of the town, and he's a toast of the town. The one we found. That's a chorus, like people saying, while he's standing there, kind of saying, "Look at me, I'm really cool. This being, this composing android, but I'm a humanoid, and I can do all this stuff." And the chorus is like, if you were to watch a musical or a theatrical play, you have the chorus of the crowd saying, "Yes, he's the best. He's the toast of the town." So that's how the song came about. Also, I really wanted to write something in kind of like a rock style piece where I could kind of shred with the synthesizer, which you will hear in a synthesizer solo. So let's play this, shall we? I'm a Simian from the album Music from Another Land.
I'm a simian. I'm a simian. That's what I am. Like a incipient, also prescient. I am what I am. It's a conundrum. That's what I am. My mental function here ever after. I am what I am.
because I'm a simian, you'll probably realize that I love, and in several of my songs now, having these two synths and harmony kind of thing, but not in precise harmony. I've done that in, I think, Fri-Son, which is a movement from my concerto as well, yet to be properly recorded, even though it's recorded per se, but I really like to have other artists play on it. So I just need to get my funds together so I can pay them. Not a recording studio, I don't think. Actually, it depends what kind of musicians I use. I might need a recording studio. So anyway, in answer to Gary's question, what is the impetus? I think I explained it. At that time when I was writing I'm a Simian, that was what I was inspired to write, something that was upbeat, that had a lot of energy, that was kind of rock-ish, stadium rock-ish, as you would imagine it, and a chance to play some synth solo styles. And the lyrics reflect that portion in the electronic opera where Metal, the composing android, is announcing who he is in a way. Any questions? Thanks, Gary. I like what you commented. Very upbeat. I'm kind of having a good laugh, good chuckle, I suppose, because I think I said that same word a few seconds ago, and I'm wondering if you're just being generous and supportive by repeating me. But yes, I love challenges, so I write to play live as well as for recorded material. With recorded material, you can kind of go back and play it again, but for live, you really need to practice to some kind of perfection where you can replicate what you hope to achieve while you have nerves and all that happening at the same time. And nerves is a good thing. Nerves kind of give you that extra boost, like a high octane boost to the regular fuel that you already have. Anyone else with a question? Thanks, Gary. You're the best. Sam, any questions? We have time for one more song. Ah, okay, Sam. No worries. I'm just really glad that you've joined us. We've missed you. I know that with family obligations and all that, and the timing and all that, it might be difficult to join us, but I like Sam's reply. Great gardening music, lots of, laughing out loud. I mean, yeah, I know. It's funny how we all know that music forms kind of remind us to life's events, right? And but they're also accompaniment to life's events. So I'm also guilty, and I don't think it's a guilt per se, but you're accompanied by sound all the time, and why not music? I do that. I listen to music when I'm cleaning or whatever. And I'm glad to be music for your gardening, Sam. Gary has made a request for our final piece. Excuse me, and it's Lover's Tears. So let me get to the page. Lover's Tears is where have we go? Okay, Lover's Tears. From what I understand, is a public domain folk song that I remember in terms of the history of events. As I said, music kind of accompanies your life's activities, right? I remember Lover's Tears as a song that my parents and their friends listened to, and I really loved it. It's a sung song, but it has such a pretty melody that I figured that if you took away the lyrics, there was a way you could still emote the content of the song. And the lyrics, the summary of the song is kind of something like that, if I remember right. That I think it was sung by a woman. Can't remember her name. Someone might know out there, because that's the internet, right? So from what I remember, the summary of the song goes like this woman saying, "Don't you understand that? Uh, you know how I feel for you," and all that kind of stuff. So it's a woman singing. Let me think. Yeah, so all the things that she does for the guy, right? It's interesting how different our songs are now, lyric wise, compared to then when you had kind of these the standard male female dynamic in a relationship. But basically she's saying, I'm shedding these tears because of my love for you, that kind of thing. So anyway, as I said, I really love how the vocal melody could be extracted from the lyric and still stand on its own. You know what I'm saying? And for the melody to exude the emotional content, it has to be played in a certain way. So I played it in this way for Lover's Tears, but when I play live, I do a lot more kind of ornamentation. Also, I paid close attention to the bass line in Lover's Tears, because this was, I think, a late 60s or early 70s song, something to that effect. And I remember that the bass lines of that time were of a particular style. So I kind of wanted to harken back to that bass line, the style of playing bass in that time. So you hear that the bass line is follows that fashion. Um, uh, I did have the theremin in the background, kind of playing in unison with the synth, but it's not the main instrument. It kind of is bringing a bit of, it's kind of bringing the ghost from the past into the present, kind of a thing. Um, and oh, in terms of John's drum playing, uh, we wanted an arrangement that also brings to mind, and I said to him, the to bring to mind that period where you might have the hero on a horse running, riding, through the woods, kind of thing, and his damsel is waiting there for him, kind of idea. So I wanted to conjure up these visuals in the song, which is why you hear what you hear. So enough said. I'm a very visual person because I worked in computer animation, and I'm generally very visual. So when I write, I do see frames or storylines and colors, and the whole lot. I write in multimedia. I I write in full spectrum color multimedia. So here's the song. So that's Lovers Tears. It looks like we had an intruder in our live chat. How dare they? We shall ignore them. So, Gary is saying John's drums is sweet on this. Yes, absolutely. It definitely brings out that intent that I was dreaming of in my head, with a hero on the horse. And when he does that shuffle with the, it's not a shuffle, it's, I can't think of the word now. Uh, oh no, John's gonna kill me. Uh, You know how you drop your stick on the snare and it does a roll kind of thing, kind of like a multiple kind of a hit. I'm sorry, Gary, you might remember the term. It sounds so much like a horse kind of neighing, not neighing so much, but it kind of does that kind of snorts, yeah, horse snorts. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? It perfectly um, creates that image. And yes, neat how the theremin echoes the melody. Thanks. Gary, you're funny. Gary says he's not in the garden, so he can do a lot of yapping. It's a rough. Thanks. Um, Sam, I hope you're still enjoying this in your garden. That's hilarious. So, you guys out there, any questions? Anyone with questions? Question time. Sam, you're funny. Sam says I'm on mobile and PC and I saw that. Thanks, Sam. You didn't have to. But since you're one of the only few who's commenting in the live chat, we thought we would ask you. It's like having a private party, but in public. Any questions, guys? Okay, I'm going to wind up because our intruder is being a pain, and I don't want to give them any other time to be a pain. So, I want to thank you all for spending another day in my 2-week quarantine in Singapore with me. And if you have bought this song or this album in the meantime, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know you will enjoy it. Remember that I do have, for those who have just tuned in, I do have an official website, a SoundCloud page, and of course my YouTube channel right here. If you want more information about each album or more information about me, so on and so forth. And I want to say thank you again. And I gotta thank you, Animated GIF. And I did not yesterday, but I want to give all of you an applause for being such wonderful viewers and friends as well. Gary says he loves that record. Yeah, Gary's been telling me that he plays music from another land, which is this album we've looked at today, on a regular basis. It's his favorite. Well, I'm glad you have a favorite, Gary, because for tomorrow, we will look at album number 3, Crossing Paths. So I actually have a picture somewhere. I don't know where it's gone. It's okay. So tomorrow we look at album number 3, Crossing Paths. And I hope I'll see you same time, same place. Stay safe till then. But since you guys have been such great friends and viewers, I want to play one last song as we bid you adieu. So also for Sam's pleasure. Which one shall I play? Let me play a song. How about Music from Another Land, the title track? Let's do that, yeah? And once the track's finished, I will play the outro to this live stream. But I will say goodbye for now and stay safe, and I will see you. I will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Tell your friends, please, and join us then. Bye.
Music of another man. Music of another man.
Gary, for your kind words. Thanks, Sam, for spending your gardening time with us. Please drive safely. And Gary, you're crazy and funny with the comment about the pitch wheel, but you're absolutely right. It is one of my favorite things to do, and it's become so much part of my playing now. It's just the way it is. Tin whistle, I love the tin whistle. It's my Aussie part. It's the part which, when it appears in my music, represents my memory of my country of birth. Okay, you guys, I want to say goodbye, but not forever. Till tomorrow. I will see you same time tomorrow. And I hope you stay safe till then. I hope you bring your friends over to join me as I look at the third album, Crossing Paths. Sam, if you're gardening again, feel free to tune in and I will play more tracks, but this time from the third album, Crossing Paths. And I will delve into the tracks that I play to talk about my work and how I worked the magic for each track. Okay, till tomorrow, everybody. Stay safe and be good, and see you then. Bye.